Hello, everyone, and welcome to Flubaroo Grading Made Easy. Flubaroo is a free tool that grades multiple choice and short answer quizzes that you make in Google Forms. It comes within Google Forms. It is easier to use, I think, than some of the templates we've been using. I'm going to walk you through a couple of slides, and then we're going to go out and create a form and run Flubaroo within it. Flubaroo, as I said, is free and works mostly with multiple choice and fill in the blank assignments. It computes the average score per question and for your class, and it flags low scoring questions. Anything beneath 60%, it'll flag in orange. It's flagging in the spreadsheets that you see from the results of your quizzes being responded to, so you'll see it right in that spreadsheet. It will give you a graph, a distribution graph of grades. It's mediocre at best. But one of the big bang up features is that it will allow you to email each student with their grade and an answer key and a little bit of text as well. So the caveat to that is that you have to have an email feature in the form. You have to request an email in the form in order for it to be able to email out. The Flubaroo process, it says 5 steps here, but it's actually 4, and it's 4 very quick steps. One is creating the assignment or the quiz using a Google form. The second is creating an answer key, which is basically opening the full form and filling it out with the correct answers, and that would be done by you, just so the first line contains everything that's correct. Running Flubaroo, which will assign and grade the spreadsheet after students have responded, and then reviewing those grades and sending them out to students via email. So I'm going to walk you through the slides, and then we're going to go out and do it. First, you create a Google form. So you would go to your Google Drive and create new and create a form. The form needs to include fields for the student name, first and last name, and an email address. And then all responses have to either be multiple choice or short answer or text-based forms. Once you've completed the form, you're going to fill out that form with the first response, and that would be creating the answer key. And after you create the answer key, you're going to send that form out to your students. So you would send the completed quiz to students. You can give them a direct link, or put the link on your blog, or embed the whole form if you want into your blog or wiki as well. Oh, I see a spelling error. When students are finished submitting their responses, you're going to see a spreadsheet of those final results. And then you would go in and run Flubaroo. You would go to the insert menu in that spreadsheet, run the script, and then a menu would appear that says it's Flubaroo. You pull down that menu and choose to grade the assignment. It's going to ask you a few questions about confirming that you want Flubaroo to run. And then once it grades your assignment, a separate sheet called grades appears in that spreadsheet. Anything that's below 60% will be highlighted in orange. It's very hard to miss. And then the second part, once you've graded the assignment, that Flubaroo menu, when pulled down, you'll see the option to email grades. And it'll look for the field where the email addresses are, and then email out to the students. And there's a couple of other things in there, but we'll do those together. One more just advanced tip in terms of the way Flubaroo works. When you create your answer key, you can choose to have one or more correct answers, as long as you separate your answers in the key by a % or. So we actually have to type in the correct answer space, % or space, the next correct answer space, % or space if there's 2 or 3 or more correct answers. So that's really it. Let's go out and go take a look at doing this together. See how I do this. I'm going to share my screen. I go to my Google Drive. That's not it. Okay, so I'm looking in the Google Drive right now, and I'm going to just, while I'm in here, let's just create a quick form. I'm going to click on Create and choose Form, and I'm going to name this form Quiz, just for lack of a better name, and then pick the default, very clean template. Now, at the very top of the form, I can choose to require West Hartford Public School students to log in. That means they would have to be logged in with their email address in order to take the quiz. The second area right here, right below the quiz name, is just for basic description information, but if you are doing a quiz in a world language class, for example, you might paste a paragraph of text in there. In an ELA class, you might type in or paste text where they're going to use that text to answer the questions in the quiz. Today I'm going to leave that blank, and the first question is given to me. It always opens with a blank question, and I'm going to have this one be student first name. I'm going to have this be a text answer. It's going to look like this, and then right beneath it, I'm going to have it be required. I'm going to require them to have their first name. And then I'm going to add another text question, and I'm going to have this be student last name. I'm going to make this a required question and click done. So now I have two questions in my quiz, student first name, student last name. I'm going to add another item, a text question, student email. And right beneath it, I do have an option for help text, so I may just remind them, please include at student.whps.org, just to make sure, and I'm going to make that required. Now I can start with my quiz questions, and I'm going to add a multiple choice question. Let's do something really simple. And then as I scroll down, I get my options. And I'm going to make, I like to keep my quiz questions all required and done. So basically, I created a, spelled weather wrong. Just make sure that's right. This is the edit button on the right-hand side, and click done. At the very top of the new form layout, I have the option to go to the live form and to view the responses from within this form. I'm going to close out of here for a second because I created a full quiz that has 10 questions on it. And this quiz now has my student first name, student last name, student email, and then 10 pretty basic math questions. Once I've created this quiz, I would go to view the live form, and I want to create the answer key, so I want to make sure that I put my information in and all the correct answers for this quiz. And you'll notice I have that little piece of help text in here as well. I think students may use that. And let me answer these quickly. What is the prime number after 7? It is 11. What is the perimeter of a circle, also known as the circumference? 65 minus 43 is 22. A convex shape curves outwards, that's true. What is the square root of 144? It's 12. Pi can be correctly written as a fraction. That is false. Million, billion, trillion, quadrillion. 52 divided by 4 equals 13. What's the bigger number, a Google or a billion? It's a Google. Opposite angles of a parallelogram are equal. That is, I think it is true. I'm going to submit this, let's hope. And then I'm going to go back to that form. So I'm going to leave this and go back to view the responses of the form. So here I am looking at the responses. And in order to start grading this, now let's say this right here is the answer key that I put in, and then I send it out to my students. So I'd have all my students' answers in here as well. And let's look at a form that's already filled out. That would be this one. And I have 7 responses in here, and let's view those responses. And there they are. Now I want a Flubaroo menu to appear, so I'm going to go to the Insert and Script. And in the script gallery, there's so many amazing things that I recommend coming back here and looking around. But right now, we are looking for Flubaroo, so I'm going to search for Flubaroo. I'm going to install it. And the next screen that comes up is a little scary. It's a big red screen, and it says, I want you to authorize Flubaroo to come in and grade your spreadsheet. And you have to run Flubaroo for every spreadsheet that you want to grade. So running it today is only going to grade the spreadsheet that I'm working on today. When I want to run it on something else, then I run it after I get my students' responses. So it's still installing. It's going to come up any minute now. I know we can do it. And once it installs and I authorize it to install, and I say yes to that big red screen, the Flubaroo menu is going to appear at the top of your spreadsheet. When I click on that Flubaroo menu, it's going to say grade assignment. It says regrade right now because I just ran this already. So I'm going to regrade the assignment. And it's saying, are you sure you want to regrade? And yes, I am sure. Now the next set of questions is identifying, it's looking at the questions in the form and it's saying, okay, I think that the first 3 questions are not things that you want to grade. We are just using these questions to identify a student. Is that true? And yes, student first name, student last name, and student email, I don't want to include in my grading. Down the next 10 questions, it's asking me, what do I want to give as points for those grades? And these allow me to do 1 through 5 points or skip it altogether. It automatically defaulted to 1. I'm going to keep them all 1 because it is a 10-point quiz. And I'm going to click continue. The next thing it's going to ask me is which one of the responses is the answer key. And that was my first response when I went in and answered the questions correctly. So it's going to use that as the correct answers against the others. When I click continue, it's grading my spreadsheet, telling me it's done. And what it actually did was, at the very bottom of the spreadsheet, the student submissions are still there. It created another page called grades. And on that page, it gave me the grades for each student. And the ones that are in orange are telling me that they're below 60%. At the very top, it's the total possible points, the average per class, the amount of submissions minus the answer key, which was mine, and the number of low-scoring questions. At the very bottom, it's showing me the percent correct per question. So this would enable me to know right away where I have my issues. So I'm going to go back to my regular sheet. I was sharing my document. And at this point, I'm pretty much done. That's all Flubaroo does. It's very cool. It works every time. Again, the more advanced tips is that if you have more than one correct answer, separate them by percent or and spaces in between. So first answer, space, percent or, second answer, percent, space, space, percent or, and third answer, and so on. I hope you enjoyed this webinar. I'm going to share this, and feel free to share this with whomever you want. It's just a wonderful, wonderful product.